Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we show you a match of the Zelda II 100% all-key tournament. This is a match of round 2 between Lord of Ultima versus Chromataclysm. Commentators for this will be Aaron, 2U2 and Jamage. Say hello.
Everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right, and yeah, we're getting ready for this. This is our second of the quarterfinals between our 3 seed Lord of Ultima and our 6 seed Chromataclysm. I think both have had PBs recently. The entire All Keys tournament has really pushed some of our players to get better and do better, and it's really just a matter of executing today. There's a lot of random stuff that can come up to junk up the run early on, so we're going to keep a sharp eye on that. But otherwise, it's all about just executing today. And I would say, odds favor Lordo here, but I think Chroma has a realistic shot. He's within that sort of range that he could do it.
It looks like Lordo got a new PB 2 weeks ago, is sitting in second place, just edging out Riak right now.
Right.
2 strong runners today.
Absolutely, and Riak is just dominated the tournament qualifiers so far, and he did pretty well in his first race. Had a rough start, but really recovered well. And I can imagine both of these guys are really nervous. I think this might be Lordo's first tournament. Like, he's played this game forever, but first time actually joining the tournament. And same for Chroma, but he also has played in many tournaments before. He is the defending Zelda II randomizer standard champion from just a few months ago, won the SGL Live tourney, and might see some of that improvisation come into play here.
Looked like we missed the official start, but we are underway.
Yep, and there we go. It's first stop Magic Cave. Goal is to get the 50 P-Bag out of here. If you don't, it makes the rest of the run a little rough. Possibly up to a 20-second time loss. Or I should say, at minimum, 20-second time loss. And we see Chroma gets it. Lordo does not. That's going to be rough going for Lordo here. But he might be able to compensate for it. We'll see. There's still decent odds that he can get the experience he needs out of P1. Oh, and he is, he's going straight over there. He's not going to Trophy Cave for a backup or anything like that. They're just we're going to see the gas, and he's going to hope that he gets some good luck in P1 to compensate for it, which is definitely possible.
So you say, like, it's what you want to do is to get a P-Bag in Magic Cave, but it's not... Well, that is relatively maniped, isn't it? It is somewhat up to you, because it's so early in the run that there's a few frames that you can actually kind of guarantee it, but it's really supposed to be a 1 in 8 random chance.
Right. The odds are that shouldn't really happen, and if you don't try for it, it doesn't happen very often, but both of them have manipulation set up for that. And the reason why you see them go straight to the heart container, like even in Lordo's case where he could have compensated for that by getting early trophy, is because he has manipulation set up to do the bubble skips there on that screen. Now we've seen Chroma have to walk it. It's slow, but it's also dangerous. So Chroma was slightly ahead before that, but now we see something like about an 8-second time difference, 7-second time difference entering P1. So the separation from that event has already happened, and he's going to try to go through. And again, he needs either 200 P-Bag drops in P1, or he needs to find a miracle bag, the same thing that you would found in the Magic Cave there, 150 from one of the random small enemies. So he's got a chance, but it's like something like a 38% chance of that happening, I think. I did the math once, and it depends on how many bots he kills.
So we're not really going to know who's got the edge coming out of P1 until we know if either of them get the attack 4 start.
Right, and there's still a chance that Chroma will not get the bag luck, because you still have to get one of the two 50-50 large drops, which again is 200 experience or a red jar. If you get neither, then there's no way to compensate for that, and you're leaving an attack 3. And the big thing here is... Sorry.
You'd rather need 1 than 2, though, for sure.
Yeah, Absolutely. The luck goes from, if you only need one, you got a 75% chance of getting that, blanket without trying to manipulate things or whatever to get them perfectly. If you need both, that's 25%. So definitely, it's definitely a lot better odds, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it right now. Just kind of hoping and don't screw anything up too much. I see Lordo in the Chewy room, the top right corner here. I think their real name is Goomas, but I always call them Chewies, like Chewbacca or something.
Yeah, it's important not to confuse Gooma with Gooma or Goma. All different.
Yes, they're going for basically the same strat, except Chroma missed the key. But yeah, him getting attack 2, that's where you want to get it. So he's on. Other things you have to worry about with experience, these little kobolds bouncing around. They're pretty much done with those now, I think. Yeah, I think they don't have any more that they're going to run into, but after the screen, Chroma doesn't have any more. But they can drain your experience, and that can just screw everything up. So as we're going through here, you notice they're skipping all the enemies. This is an experience manip. It's so that you get the 50-50 drop on one of the skeletons that give 30 experience otherwise, instead of one of the other enemies that give 50 experience. It actually gives you 20 experience for free doing that. Oh, Lordo gets life too. That pretty much ends the chance of the double bag at this point. He would still have to get a miracle bag and both bags to get attack 4 out of here. So I don't think that was on purpose, but if you're not used to doing this area at a lower attack level, it's real easy to miss menu, because normally when you get that 50 bag, you're skipping the levels instead of picking one. So, chat says he still only needs 200, so they might know better than me.
If you know you still need the 200s, taking the life, and it's 50 experience, so when you're looking for that extra 200, it's not a big difference.
Yeah. Well, it's you need the 50, or excuse me, it's not just that, you also have to clear 150 experience instead of just the 100. That was the math that I did wrong. It was only an extra 50 they needed after. If it was a whole 150 points, then yeah, that would be too much. So we'll see if he gets the luck here, and he gets the first bag. So the dream is still alive. Chroma got his too, so provided any sort of disaster, he's leaving here at attack 4. And yep, neither of them checking in on the Warrior Fairy, going straight down with what they got. And again, they're in a pretty decent shape. It looks like Chroma is in the lead, but that is entirely because Lordo took an extra level more than Chroma has. So now Chroma's taking attack 3, we see the lead switch back. When you're this close at the start, little things like that can change the way the races look. And yeah, Chroma didn't go for Chewy skip, and it looks like Lordo's got the luck here. Although, oh gosh, he somehow split the soft lock by going through in the middle. So yeah, he'll be leaving an attack 4, and Chroma's gonna get it too. So GG's to both of them, despite all the nonsense at the beginning. Both are leaving here exactly where they want to be.
So it's pretty close so far. Despite the reverse bubble skip, it's closed back up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Again, Lordo has taken one extra level over what Chroma has, so we might see that flip. Probably in Jump Cave, assuming nothing else changes. They might be right on even again. But yeah, this is ultra even right now. It'd be interesting to time like palace entries and stuff like that. I'm not capable of doing that while doing comms. But we did see Lordo enter earlier, and now Chroma is leaving earlier. So it seems like he might have had the better palace, even with the, maybe 5-second difference that comes up from that. But that's not surprising too. Be a nice time to mention that chromataclysm is the current world record holder in horsehead percent. So he's had plenty of experience running through P1, with little to nothing going his way.
Looks like both runners are going to do late shield, unsurprisingly, so we're actually going to be able to compare them pretty head-to-head.
Yeah, that seems to be most runners do late shield nowadays, at least at this level, because of the manipulations that it sets up outside of Palace 2. If you're not doing it, it's mainly because you think you're going to end up dying without shield at some point. But really, it's P1 is the problem in that regard. All right, yes, thank you, Chosen. It's not called late shield, it's called normal shield, and getting it early is called early shield, which has nothing to do with the magic order, like as we see appear on Chroma's screen, getting the jump spell. Shield should obviously be the 4th spell on the list, right? But yeah, so we're just going through town parts again. If you're not experienced with Zelda 2, there's basically 3 main sections of the game. There's the exciting fighting part when you're going through caves and palaces and so on. There's the overworld part where you're doing, dodges and things like that. And there's towns where you're just walking. Unfortunately, is unavoidable. And there we see the Life 2 grab. So at this point, they have equal progress and they're essentially tied on the screen.
We're 10 minutes in and it's super close.
Yeah, the only real difference is a little bit of experience, but that hardly matters. So, coming out of Jump Cave, we have the Bagoo Walk. This is like one of maybe 4 walks in the game that are real important as far as dodging the encounters. And it looks like Chroma got the right pause, and the enemies didn't quite cooperate. Same with Lordo. The enemies just didn't really cooperate. Not a whole lot you can do if they act that way. And he got a second one. That one's irritating because once you get to the plains, you can usually dodge stuff. And we see a lead change here. Which again, to note, Lordo's taken Magic 2. So he's already, he's got a little bit of built-in delay. Chroma still needs to take that at some point. For the most part, you can just count a level as like a 5-second difference. So Lordo does have a little bit of a lead. It looks like 1 Bago's worth on the bridge.
Yeah, we are setting up for a situation where those walks and the random encounters and how they play, they're gonna play a big part in this.
Yeah, and that is, at this level, very important, especially with the leveling probably fine. I think if you get attack 4, it's very difficult to not keep your leveling correct, unless you skip a bunch of stuff or miss level somehow. So, outside of Disaster, we should be looking at the same race on both sides the rest of the way out. Now, there might be a leveling difference with magic and life levels. I think Lordo always goes 4-2-3 before he gets to attack 5. I'm not sure I think Chroma's a little bit more versatile, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that too. The extra, you can put off the magic level if you want, but keeping or using it lets you get another life refill inside Death Mountain, so that can be pretty useful.
Now you said outside of Disaster, and Zelda 2 is, of course, well known for there never being anything disastrous that could possibly happen.
Right. Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful because there are so many things that are like micromanaged and difficult. It's interesting, Chroma went for the life lady and not the magic lady. A lot of people will do that and then cast life, but I guess he's probably going to take magic too, so he's not worried about that. Yeah. Oh, Lordo will do 4-2-2. Okay, I mean that's a strong option too, and that gives you a life refill in P2, which can be pretty important. It's all about how confident you are inside of Death Mountain. Here we go. Of all the different Death Mountain rooms, the first one tends to be the zaniest. with just so many bots and those red moblins floating around. They're a little annoying. And after that, it smooths out a little bit. That, Blue Gorilla was really aggressive with Lordo there. A lot of times you barely see it do anything, like with what it's doing with Chroma. That guy had 2 boomerangs out before Lordo even walked into the frame. Yeah, and again, speaking of randomness, this room is not particularly good. You generally have to kill one of those first bats or bots, or you can despawn this Dyra. You don't really want to despawn 70 experience.
Seeing Lordo pick up a little bit of ground here. Make a little bit of bleed.
Yeah, and again, the leveling is the same, so what we're seeing here is the truth as far as that is concerned. With Death Mountain, it's really just kind of, until you can get to the end of it, try to maintain your health so that you're not losing too much. You can take a few bops from bots, but after a while, all that stuff starts to build up a little bit, and you really want to go into the last room, the last set of rooms with all of your life. Ooh, that was a nice cleanup there at the end of that room by Chroma. That was exciting to see. Yeah, it looks like they're about half of a room apart now. Just bullying themselves all the way through the remaining parts of Death Mountain here. Rating life, and we see, I bet we'll see Lordo cast life here in just a moment. Or no, he did not. I guess he's going beamless, or he's going to wait till after the red die right here. Yeah, there we go. Just in case. Gets the beam wrap on the Aikman. That's always nice to see. Chroma missed it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Remind me why they call it Death Mountain again.
Because that's what they called it in the first game, I suppose. And
is that this just? Remember my casual days. This game is this part of the game is just such a step up.
Yeah, and they are doing it out of sequence. It's actually meant to do Palace 2 before you do this, but having fairy access earlier is useful. Plus, the routing would be really annoying to go the opposite direction. Plus, it helps with leveling too. P2 can be pretty challenging. The enemies out here are, once you have the ability to fight them, the Dairas are not really that bad. That's the big obstacle in the speedrun, I think, is learning how to fight Dairas. You know, first the orange guys, which aren't really too tricky, but then the red ones to not get hit.
Yeah, the axe throwers.
Yeah, that's when you're really starting to turn the corner on learning the speedrun well, I think.
Was there anything you could do to get down stab faster?
Well, you could. You can't really do it before you come here, unfortunately, without you doing fancy glitches.
Slightly different category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any percent, you know, the ones that allow the healer glitch, which lets you teleport right to King's Tomb so you can sneak into Fairy Town without having to get the hammer. You know, that stuff, that works out pretty well for downstab, and then this can be pretty slick. But yeah, difference leaving Death Mountain, I would say that as far as that segment goes, I think Lordo won that one. Shaved a little bit of time compared to Chroma.
I'm going to assume most of chat knows this, but the area south of Death Mountain, which you don't walk in because there's nothing interesting there for the game, but that is a miniature replica of the map from Zelda 1.
Yeah, and considering where Death Mountain is, you know, it matches up, which is kind of neat.
And they basically, that's to kind of convey that this game is a larger scale game while still being, you know, limitations of the NES.
Yeah, and also it also kind of reflects how little of anything is going on in the first Zelda game, like where your towns, even in the later ones they throw out Kakariko or something, one random town that exists in the world, so it doesn't seem quite as empty. Oof. And that's not a screen you want to see encounters in. That's sometimes you can hit an encounter, it doesn't really lose time. He's going to have to set up on the cat's tile to try to get the manipulation out of here. Whereas Chroma pulled the encounter early to pull it out of the way, and then he's going to do the same thing. So that's something about another 6 seconds back in Chroma's way, I think. Yeah, I would say we are almost tied at this point, effectively. Again, Chroma does have an extra level, so that's part of the difference that we're seeing right there. And we'll see. I don't think either runner is going to take a Death Abuse here in Medicine Cave. It's a possibility, but it's usually only time efficient if you're about dead, which I don't think either runner isn't too concerned about that right now. Saw Lordo do one yesterday when he was doing runs, but he was beeping, I think, and you don't want to cast life here. It loses time in Mido in the fairy town, so.
So you don't have enough life, you don't have enough magic, but both runners did, so
yeah, good shape. As far as Death Abuses go, it's one of the more efficient ones to take. What we'll probably see is both runners take at least 2, maybe 3 of them in Palace 4, depending on how things go. I wouldn't be surprised if each one of them takes all of the Death Abuses there, unless they're worried about surviving GP, that they think that might come down to the end of the race. Then they might pull one back, just in case.
To answer Wymuth's question, yep, they both got attack for. Lordo actually, so Chromataclysm got the P bag in Magic Cave, and Lordo got 250 bags in P1.
Yeah.
A little sketchy for a while, but they both got it.
Which is good. That's what you want to see in a race. You want it to be nothing that's completely out of your control that changes things. Now, I mean, every race, everything has RNG, so it's not really out of your control, but it's such a hard maneuver to do in a regular basis that it can, and has in some cases, decided these runs. But yeah, otherwise, again, Chroma's taking an extra level over Lordo, but I would say there's less than 5 seconds difference between the two. And it really comes down to P2. And I think yesterday in practice, we saw, when I was watching people, Lordo has had really good starts of runs. He didn't in this one, of course. But I've seen the opposite with Chroma, where he seems to struggle a lot on the West Coast, and especially survivability in P2. If he has that in mind, he might be a little bit conservative, but I don't know. It's not really in his nature of, all the different runners you see play Z2. Chroma tends to be one of the most aggressive, trying just about every strat that he has any sort of confidence in. So, and especially going up against somebody like Lordo, who has a minute-ish on his PB, he's probably thinking, I gotta let it fly. All right. We see Lordo get the jar. The importance of the jar in that cave is so you can ferry this heart container. It saves like 3 seconds. But in a run like this, 3 seconds is great. I think that blue jar would have been enough for Chroma too. I don't know. I don't remember how much ferry costs, but it'd be pretty close. Nope, never mind. It wouldn't have been enough.
Chroma doing the same thing, so we stay close.
And now this walk is a little bit more manageable than some of the other walks, but there's still a lot of RNG involved that's hard to control. We see there Lordo taking the encounter on the road. It's not the worst thing. And I think he's just going to try to make a straight shot there. He got caught by a bad bounce from the encounter there. That's a little unlucky. See, Chroma's taken one road encounter too, and then he just ran into one before he could get to the road. So they've both taken 2 encounters. I think he's going to get there without a third. There we go. So the whole pre-P2 walk winds up being pretty negligible. Although I don't think either runner would be super happy with how it went. Just slightly on the slow side. Yes, if it was successful, it would be called the Lordo Walk.
So far, we're still kind of looking for something to separate these runners.
Well, the experience might do part of it. Lordo's got an extra bag over Chroma right now, so he still needs that 150 extra for Life 3 that I think we'll see him take here. But experience-wise, he doesn't have to kill much of anything anymore. Chroma's got to do a little bit more work, but I don't know if it's enough to change anything. Like, Lordo here is probably still going to kill all the skeletons. He's going to skip the one upstairs. He might skip the orange IKs. And will definitely skip the red IKs in the glove room. The advantage of getting extra experience going to P2 is you can skip a lot of enemies, and that makes the game easier. So, it's something that they definitely try to do. But it's not that big of a time save, considering there's just so many, like the ones we saw in this room, where they're just in your way. So there's not much we can do. So once takes this level up, we will again be a very honest picture of where we are right now, which looks to be, again, like, let's just count here. 1001, 1002, about 3 seconds.
2 encounters each in the Swamp Walk. Okay,
Yep, first
1.5, yeah, is more technically accurate.
Yeah, they both got one in the middle on the road, and then they both got one right next to the 2 square road spot. So, not perfect, but it wasn't terrible. Alright, both of them clearing the bot lava room. That is a scary room, especially for newer speedrunners and myself, I suppose. Oof. We see the danger in skipping the orange IKs right there. Lordo got bopped by the bubble. Not that big of a deal. He's not even going to bother getting the jar to refresh. But it does mean that it did just push him back just a little bit. And Chroma getting attack 5. I misspoke before. Now they're even. And now we can see the pure, honest view of where they are in this race.
Yeah, we got about a 6-second gap on my count.
Yeah, and to clear this, they need 200 experience before they get to the boss, or 400 total. We can see, like, they're almost there already. It would be difficult for them to not get enough experience at this point.
Now, there's the well-known trick about the fairies flying through the doors without the keys, but if you have a key, it consumes your key anyway, so it's valid for this category.
Right. I think Twin Galaxies might have something to say about it, but they aren't the officiants of this. Alright, are we going to get the eye kill? Alright, he got the Moa. That Moa, you lose a little bit of time killing it, but it's just ultra annoying. Looks like Chroma does the same. Just starts spitting out fire all over the place and dodging these guys. It just makes it too complicated. And you see, again, when I was talking about skipping large enemies, this is the part. Just bouncing on the head of these skeletons. It's real easy to take a bunch of lame bops from the things shooting at you on the walls with the way this room is lined up. So, yeah, just don't. That's the advantage there. And I like the room that Lordo's in. The first time you do it, when it's upstairs in P1, it's not so fun. But in this one, when you have down stab and attack 5, it's real easy. And it's kind of like a revenge. You know, I say real easy, and then Chroma jumps right into a hammer. That sucks. But, just kind of looking at their life, Lordo's definitely in good shape here. He can take a few hits and not have to worry about much. We'll see if he goes for Chewy skip here. And he does, and he gets it. Nice. I hope that Chroma isn't listening to me. So I hope that I had nothing to do with that. Yeah, he doesn't get that one either. And he's in a little bit of dangerous territory. Again, he was in a run yesterday where he was in the same area and it wasn't good for him. But he might try to kill a couple of these enemies to see if a jar drops. That's, maybe get the life refill. Or maybe he won't.
And what else do we have ahead?
Mm-hmm. Gets the level skips. Oh no. Okay, yeah, he's relaxing a little bit here. He knows he can't take any hits. And he lost a couple of seconds waiting, but he didn't die. That would have been a lot worse. Yes.
Take a time check here.
Alright. I will count the encounters we get on this walk, which it looks like Lordo has a good start. Yeah, if you get all the way to that road spot without a full encounter, that's pretty sweet. Chroma, however...
15 seconds now.
Yeah, Chroma is setting up for... he was setting up for it. It's not going to happen now. He was setting up for a fanfare skip, which is something you can do at, like... the town level up. That's the real dream. But he gets there with half an encounter, so he's already done better than what Chroma has, and Chroma still has a ways to go. Encounter number 2. Yeah, we're going to see a definite separation between our runners right now with just how that walk went. In a lot of ways, the post P2 walk, that walk and the Kasuda walk are probably the most important ones in the game, I think. There's some other ones that you have a long, lengthy time walking around, but it's just very difficult to recover if you get an early encounter in either of those. It's probably the best way to put that. Exactly, it's very demoralizing. This is supposed to be a boring trip where you're just walking around. You go to the town, get your shield spell, and then you walk boring all the way here to the tomb, and then you leave and you walk again. Very, very simple, easy part. So whenever you lose time on little things that you either can or cannot control, it's very frustrating. And I think it'll be more frustrating for Chroma in that part because I think he made a wrong move there. Or he hit the button or something, did something that he didn't mean to do. Yeah, we see Lordo setting up for the final encounter skip, going into P3. He had a bit of a rough start, but honestly, he's evened out pretty well. He didn't have a great, P2, but he's done well enough that I think he has to be reasonably confident about where he is. Again, our runners are allowed to watch the restream, so they might have each other's streams up if they're really that interested.
If I was paying attention correctly, I think someone over on Lordo's side asked if he was watching the race, and he gave an emphatic no. So he's going blind.
Yeah, Lordo, I'm not surprised that he's not. I wouldn't be surprised if Chroma has it up, though. He's used to doing that sort of thing. Emphatic no, yes. That's great. And P3, whoa, that was nice. He bounced over the guy right up on the platform. Yeah, P3 is considered to be kind of an easier part of the run at this level, so a lot of what's going on, like little mistakes and stuff, can be really irritating. P1 you expect nonsense. P2 you're trying to skip a lot of things, so sometimes you take some bops. P3 you're usually on the right level, and it's hard to make excuses at this point. So I think what we're going to see here is if we have any mistakes, we might see more mistakes just on top of it because people are going to get a little angry and frustrated.
I think we both reacted to that bot kill the same way.
Yes. Apologies for whistling right into the mic.
That was an aggressive jump, and it paid off, but it was scary to watch.
And I mean that he came in with the magic you come in with. That's the argument towards possibly delaying Magic 2 until you get here, is so you can get a magic refill. So you can cast Jump in this room. And I think we'll see Chroma do it. No, he didn't do it either. So he wants to make sure he gets that fairy cast. But you see him casting Jump on the way out. It makes the room a little bit safer. But wow. Alright. He checked the Forever Man, and it was a Forever Man. So, but Chroma is still fairing it. He has 1 life bar. He is playing it so tight right now.
I think you kind of got to figure he knows how bad that walk was. Should probably figure he lost some ground there, and you got to take the risks to make it up.
I think he's going to try for the 50-50 jar here. Call it Forever Man, because that's what Lordo calls it, because it's never a jar, so he wants to be more positive about it. He doesn't get it, and now he can keep going. There is a very odd death abuse you can try here that nobody really tries on purpose, and that's in the Minecraft room. Like, just letting the heads kill you, but at life 3, it would take a few hits, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's the sort of thing people really do on purpose. It's just more of a, I'm almost dead, you know? Chroma's fine on, they're both fine on experience. There's a 100 you have to kill at the end. There's an 100 in this screen he's gonna fight. Yeah, setting up for Revo, Lordo going straight to the corner, taking him out, no problem. And, there we go. I think that was a 35. Oh, there it was. It was just a little bit too close. He's not gonna be happy about that. So now we get to see his Rebo fight. I think, yeah, he's gonna go with the aggro Rebo strats, especially with max life and magic. There's if you're again like a randomizer player like he is, that you probably do this more than the opposite, and that was probably pretty equal time wise versus a corner fight.
Rose made it onto the Eastern Continent. And we got about a minute gap at this point.
Yeah, P3 was the walk there and everything was not kind to Chroma. He's a death down to. He's going to have to just play, pretty much perfect from here on out. But again, to kind of point out some of the differences I've seen from the players and practices, and none of this matters in the race, but it seems like Chroma's had troubles on the West Coast, and Lordo's had a little bit more trouble on the East Coast. But again, it doesn't matter. Anything can happen during a race, and I'd be surprised if anything kind of holds him up. And he's casting Jump instead of Fairy. Oh no, he's doing both. Okay. You need to burn the magic anyway for a trick in Darunia, so. But I hadn't seen anyone do that, or if I had, I forgot about it. Oof. There's another clip. He got hit by something else, and he's just having some issues right now getting through this. These encounters are really unfortunate. Burning the magic is, and you can do it at any point. I think he's just kind of doing it there because he's already menuing a lot anyway. But there's a chimney that you want to cast Fairy to go down, and the ideal way to do it is to have your magic still refilling, and the best way to have that happen is if you have no magic going in. So yeah, What you say, Christine. Yeah, normally I need to cast life there too. But you see Lordo is not really worried about that right now. Got through this entire part without taking any damage, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I've kind of settled into that strat myself, Vaughn, just being a little bit more focused upon not taking damage so much than actually expecting it. But that's what maybe you would call a high tier strategy versus, like, a more basic speedrunner strategy. Fairy spawn is a little bit gross, but he's able to get through it. Now this walk back, the Dazzle Walk is, I think it can be a tough one, but it's pretty well formed. So it's usually fighting anything there is not the norm. He does not take the stabs on the end of the screen, but I don't think he moved. Shoot. Yeah, he doesn't think he moved either. So he had eat an extra encounter there. And, all those stabs are setting up the manipulation that apparently if you do 3-ish stabs, it causes the enemies to home in on you, which is what you want there.
But my understanding, the stabs themselves are immaterial, it's just the amount of time they take.
Right. Stabs are all about just timing the whole thing. Here we go. So we're through this, Lordo's through the lengthy town process. He likes to talk to things other than the sign to get that sort of delay. Most people just talk to the moo. I don't think so. I think he's just really frustrated right now, and he's trying to mentally recover. That's something you see out of both of these runners. They tend to be very passionate when they're playing this game, very fired up, which if you're not used to it can be a bit of a shock. But and that can be awesome, and it can also kind of help build on frustration. So both of them have a little bit of frustration management. I would never tell people to go check their cameras or anything like this, because that's what I consider to be an unfortunate part of speedrunning. But from our view, we can see that both of them are having some frustration build up right now in this race. And yeah, he didn't get the walk. Chroma has. I'm not going to try to jinx him by saying that I think he has some sort of advantage on this walk or not. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think he'd say that's the case. But so he talks to the sign, gets the MOU. By their own tracking, both players have 7 unintended encounters, which is both high. So if they aren't paying attention to the other one, he gets the really bad back spawn. There's not really anything you can do about that. The thing doesn't want to come get you. You can't force it to. Alright, sneaking through. He's going to try to get this one in the grass. Oh, he got both of them there. Oh, one of them just moved up just a little bit. He was... If that didn't happen, he probably would have been free to the bridge. Instead, he's getting 2 encounters. So basically the same thing that Lordo had, except he also lost time on... Yeah, so that actually went in the opposite direction.
That was incredibly unfortunate. I didn't even see that one pop out till the very last second.
The fact that Chroma isn't worrying about casting life or anything like that, he's probably going to take life 4 before he needs the health, or at least that would be his goal. Lordo was attempting jumpless, And I think he regretted it immediately and decided to go ahead and cast the jump spell, take the death. It saves a little bit of time not having to menu to the spell and have it ready, but those jumps are basically the same as what you would call a 3-tile or 4-tile jump.
Yeah, that exact same room, like what, 3 times in this palace?
Yep. This is where the devs got a little lazy.
Yeah, it's just NES cartridge / FDS disc constraints. There's actually a lot of reused rooms in this game. They mix it up, they change the enemies out from time to time, but a lot of the rooms, if you actually pay attention, are reused.
Yeah. The game, when they pushed onto the NES cart, it was initially an FDS game, so it was on a disc. And I don't know the specifics of how those things work, but it does impact things a little bit. I would be surprised if... Oh, okay, he saved it. That's scary. I'd be surprised if Chroma takes all 3 death abuses. I think considering how far he's drifted back, and he probably has some idea of that he's likely thinking that he needs to play a little safe. But yeah, so he went for the jar, he got the jar. He's still not casting life, which he wants to do everything he wants to do to save time, so. Goes 1 enemy kill from any reasonable sized enemy, and he will have life 4. And there it was, except he left the screen before he got it. That can be scary because it's going to cause some other problems, but he just has to get through this guy. There he goes. He's playing this race to win it. He knows what he's capable of. He's playing it tight, even if it seems real scary to those of us who aren't on this level.
And whether he's listening or not, he probably thinks he's behind based on how a bunch of that other stuff has gone.
And that was the problem with leaving the screen before that Doom Knockers experience reset, is that he's still alive. And that one in particular, you walk into the screen, he just likes to hit you right in the face before you can even react. So we'll probably see him take this death abuse, the fact that he didn't... Yeah. There's no 50-50 jar on that one. It's just straight into the fire.
As far as being risky goes, there's no college Zelda 2 poll committee to impress here. You lose by 5 seconds or 10 minutes, you're still out of the tournament. Gotta go for it.
Alright, now Lordo's in the last Minecraft room with 1 life bar, but he should be fine. He's going to be taking a death abuse in about 3 screens, and yeah, both of our players taking a lot of hits in this palace that they otherwise wouldn't want to do. Yeah, normally you don't even see the Wizrobe when you go right here, so he just has some floating heads that probably scarier to dodge than to actually take damage from. It's one of the worst rooms in the game. P4 has quite a few of those, though. It's just the Palace of Death. Either it knocks you into fire and you die, or you knock yourself into fire and you die. And it's really long, and you have to touch every single possible square foot of the palace. And yeah, it's a meme that people would be like, had a PB, except, you know, P4 skip. You just want to write it out of the entire game. You know, and on top of that, as we're going to see here in a moment, you have the RNG boss of Karak, who is impossible to, more or less, to manipulate. There's stuff that people have figured out to make it so it's easy to dodge damage, but it is not a speed strat. I think we saw the tournament match between Riak and Trav White a little bit ago, a few days ago, where swear it seemed like Riak had like 20 some beam dodges. Insane.
On pointing out that aggressive bubble that was chasing Chroma for a while there.
And this is not a good Karok either. Alright, Lordo's flipping out a little bit, not surprising. That was something like 15, I think, was where I counted, maybe.
It's still time for chat to get their bets in for how it's going to go for Chroma.
I mean, what did I... Was it... Yeah, I think it was actually Chroma yesterday. He was in a kind of a bad run, and he got to Karok and had like 2 beam dodges and just completely wasted him. But it's just all RNG. There's nothing you can do about it. So the RNG might give him some time back. It still could be worse. So we can't count on that. But that was definitely below average. Almost disaster level for Lordo in that fight. Now P5, we're going to see another important trick here. This is the eco key. Getting it saves something like 15 seconds over not doing it. And getting it versus failing it saves like 25 seconds. So he got it. He's in good shape. And that was a better Karok. That was not ultra fast, but that was better. And now, as he heads into P5, the big thing about P5 is just being able to navigate it without taking a lot of damage. Because there's a lot of refills later on. There's a lot of magic refills you can get in P5, including the one we just see Lordo take.
You know, we're looking at about a 1.5-minute gap at this point.
Then another big point of RNG, this block room. That is probably pretty good. How that worked out for Lordo. Took one bop, had a little bit of a delay at the beginning, but then the blocks more or less lined up. I would say that's a birdie. I would be a little bit hesitant to go straight to an eagle for that, but definite birdie. Alright, Chroma getting Eco Key as well, so no separation there. He's got to do all of that stuff pretty much right on to have a chance here. He's got to save every second, and he's got to put himself in a good shape. Just to continue to stay even. And he's probably going to have something kind of bad happen on Lordo's side to catch up. This difference has become significant. He's not worried about going back for the bag. He'll probably just kill a Mago or something to compensate for it. You usually end up killing one of them by accident anyway. They're just all over the place and in your way. Alright, now Chroma is up at the T. And yeah, I would pretty much put that the same. That's a birdie. He had to wait a while for the blocks to fill up, but no damage and no knocks in the room at all. Just got the key and left. He also didn't cast Fairy, so he didn't have to get the jar. Saved a little bit of time there too. Sounds good.
Still sitting on, I think, only the one accidental death so far the entire time. It hasn't really been a run of... It's not like a major disaster, it's just kind of been death by 1,000 encounters here.
Yeah, neither runner is claiming to have a good race right now, or a good run. Like, this wouldn't be anywhere close to a PB time, but that doesn't mean they're not playing it well. Some of the stuff's been outside of their control. But I think Lordo's had a pretty good East continent so far. Chroma had some rough spots, but whenever you're down a life, everything seems worse. Now he's fine. Nope. Chroma died at the end of P3, like right in the room before Revo. So, but they evened the lives out in P4. So right now, Chroma and Lordo both have 2 lives left, which is race. Race setup. That's what you want. I think they'll save the death in case something bad goes bad in GP, because it's better to lose 20 seconds in GP than it is the game over. Just in case, of course, things might go the way that they're intended and that not happen. And also, even before GP, VOD can be away, and then there's the bot lava room in P6, and there's always little things that can crop up if things don't go right.
You're not really out of this game until the very end.
If you're wondering if you were like measuring time from maybe when they got the flute, note that Chroma actually goes right before he goes down as a regular thing, so he always ends up getting the flute later than people who don't. So we're gonna see him right after he gets this. He's gonna go back to the west wing of this palace. Who does that? I don't know. It just happens, I guess. Sometimes people do it. I will do it if I'm extremely beat up and can't cast Fairy on the flute, but I'm also not likely to screw up the timing on it. No. Oof, he's a little bit short of life too. That is, he's in rough shape again. He's gonna have to dodge a few screens of enemies before he gets a jar to refill. And Chroma skips the 50-50 jar that you can get. We see Lordo coming back for it. He wants to make sure that he has nothing that can possibly goof him up here against Guma. Yeah, it looks like Chroma survived the path there, unless something weird happens. Lordo making short work of Guma, does the backwards hopping down stabs right into Guma's neck, but he still took a couple of hits and had to play it a little bit safe. That's going to be an important jar for Chroma. He's taking a lot of hits. I'm sure he's not sad at all to see that.
Guma does in fact hit like a truck. We'll leave the rest of that quote in chat. And if you're wondering about it in posterity, too bad.
Again, we should mention that the game expects you to have more than life 4 at this point. I mean, it's not like there's a thing that says that somewhere, but the way that we level in the speedrun is entirely designed to maximize gems, and the fact that attack levels make the game faster, more so than anything else. So
just don't get hit.
Yeah. Yeah, if he'd taken another hit, he would be dead. He went after that anyway. That was scary. But I think he's at a point now where he doesn't feel like he can lose a second on anything.
If Yvonne gets it, go fast and don't get hit. And that's all there is to it. I mean, more than that, it's just details.
Right.
Just 75 minutes of details.
Yeah, Chroma is playing very aggressive, and he's had some near misses. And one that wasn't a miss, unfortunately. Now, as Chroma's going through the town and getting the levels, we're going to see Lordo do kind of the next, maybe the biggest overall like random element of this game that hasn't been truly worked out. And it's the Kasuda walk here. He gets the first part before we go into the Wilson fences, where that's fair. I like that. Everyone should be allowed one race to substitute a Trails Goomba clip for their actual Goomba fight. Yeah. I don't know. If you play him real safe, he's not too tricky, but then that's not the sort of thing that speedrunners do. So, Lordo setting up for the Lordo walk, which, that is a really quick encounter. I'm not sure what he's going to do out of here. He's just going to go for it and try to skip what comes at him. That's 2. Oof. I'm not going to count him. If he rewatches this, he's not going to want to hear it.
Fairy, the unpredictable fairy there.
And the Tektites not being bros and just dodging the fireballs. Like, that one didn't move. I never see them not move. They're always just outright chosen. That went well. So he kills the lizard trying to get the chosen jar. The I don't need you jar. Doesn't come up. Maybe Chroma, again, this is an opportunity to catch up some time because that was not a good walk. We're not going to call that the Lordo walk. That was the alternate bad walk. What Chroma is doing on the left, we saw him do 2 stabs before he cast Fairy. I believe this is the Dude walk or like a modified version of it. Instead of waiting, he just spawns that early, and he gets a back spawn. Back spawn's always the dream here. And he gets a second back spawn. And yeah, just like that, 3 encounters, nothing. Tektites cooperate. However, he doesn't have a drop coming in here, because I believe his drop was too late. Yeah. And he looks confused. He can get it off of this lizard, but if I counted correctly... And it's a bag, so you don't actually want the bag there, you want the jar. So both of our runners having to visit the magic lady. Hey, Desi. Sorry.
That's gonna make up a pretty solid chunk of time there.
Yeah, it's a sort of feeling you would like to have if you're in his position where things have been rough for a while. We might see him... this was on pace for looking like it might end up being like a 77 or worse, and I think that walk alone might have tweaked it a little bit back down. Might need that cough checked. Thank you, Desi. Also, hello. I hope you're doing well.
I believe traditionally this is the part where we have to ask chat about some kind of baked good, right?
I don't know. I know that's a Trev White thing, and I think that's some other people do that. I don't know. I don't bake. Does anybody here bake? Let me know how your baking is going, chat.
That's a little different, actually.
Yes, I immediately regret saying that. Thank you. Oof. He almost got it. Our top players are pretty good at the manips out of this, but he just rushed it slightly, I think. But it's a really tricky slink. Like, I am not an expert. Anything like that. Hey, I consider that to be like the first tier of baking trails. You paying somebody else to do it involves baking. So I like that. Now, both of these players, if I remember right, are very aggressive in P6. And I say that to make it sound scary. They do a lot of jumpless strats, which scares the crap out of me. So I think it's more of a... Like, they're really comfortable with doing it, but like... Hey, look at that 4-tile jump. No problem. Just jump right over. No spell, no nothing. No beam bounce. Straight on through. And Chroma got both dodges, but the encounters just did not cooperate. And he couldn't get over to the heart. So he gets one, same as Lordo. Will be entering P6 in kind of the same clip. But I would say the Kasuto walk went pretty well for him. Just wasn't able to get the good luck on the last part there. And he does cast Jump here. Sometimes he will not do that when he's doing runs, but I think in a race he's not gonna risk it. And yeah, Chroma just going for the beam strat, letting the IK's knife bounce you over. And all right, I think we're getting a little bit of nerves on Lordo's side here. I think he's just gotta. There we go. He's got the red jar. Gets the cast jump beforehand. Full magic, no concerns the rest of the way, right? Oof. Yeah, that jump is actually the same. It's just a little harder for the one in here to measure it, right? I think so. He almost jumped in the hole there too. Like he was really, really close.
Yeah, just one trip down that hole, and it could have even the run back up if Lordo had done it. So it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, well, nobody wants anyone to have to go to Canada, so we're.
I just got back from Canada.
All right. Yeah. You see Chroma ferries the cross. I think he's gonna... Let's see if he can get this jar here.
Got a life bar walk.
There we go. We like to think that jar is 100%. Hasn't really been tested a whole lot yet. Except for, I think only me and Chroma really mess with that. That's great. It's a great strat. You should try practicing it too. See if it works for you. Perfect jar grab. Of course, when I was doing it, I was also like, Neil, never mind, no one cares about that. And yeah, so kind of cruising along this midsection of P6. He got through the fire room, the bot lava, which is always scary. And now he just has one Rebo and then a short fall to Barba. That's it. He got the big launch off of Rebo, and yeah, now he's a little frustrated about that. Some extra butt stabs for you. Yes, unfortunately, I think both runners actually violated Twin Galaxy rules when they used Fairy to go through a key door, which I think by their rules you're not even allowed to do that, even if you have the key. Like, I think you always have to walk through the door. I don't know. I think it's an FDS accommodating rule because I don't think you can do that at all in FTS. But I might be wrong. So, very clean, quick kill for Lordo over Barba, and he gets to go into VOD here, pretty much the exact way you would want to in a race. Okay. Yeah, that might have something to do with it. I'm not an expert on FDS rules, but I thought I had heard that.
Second time I've seen chat lamenting not doing or wanting to do work during the race and then not. And you've got such an exciting race. Why would you be doing work?
Right. Yeah, I think in FDS you have to stab the items, which does mean stabbing the child. It's unfortunate. But if you think about it as if that child is actually the lizard's child and you're kidnapping it, then, I mean, it still seems bad, I guess. It's just a whole different type of crime. Alright, they had a little bit of a high five over the bridge, although I think Chroma was a fairy at the time, so hopefully that was a very gentle five on Lordo's side. And that's our separation right now.
Dozeneer, yes, I was doing commentary for React at Midwest Speed Fest.
I do remember seeing that too. I think I oh wait, no, that wasn't you. That was Gooby, who I think was in chat that day.
Me, Gooby, and Dude actually did the commentary there.
I was thinking of something else. I jumped into React was doing a how to announce sort of clinic to, I think, to help train Gooby. Which I have never once thought about. Interesting. Anytime anyone's announced any of my runs, I just let them do it. But yeah, very hot VOD for now look at that. Lordo has he did have to cast life once, so he's lost a little bit of magic, but otherwise he's gotten through here pretty good.
Yeah, React's notes are incredibly detailed if you're ever going to do commentary on this, especially from a marathon perspective, even more so than a race perspective.
Yeah, if he wanted that XP, he got it. And he's taking an early magic 8. I don't think he really wanted to do that, but he does have an extra life. So this isn't a he's going to have to hunt for a jar scenario. Ideally, runners at this level are going to try to push that magic 8 grab to the absolute last second, 2 screens before Thunderbird or something like that if they can. But I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. But yeah, Chroma, oof. Until that point, it had a really good VOD. Max did not cooperate. Scorpion Max decided that he was going to be a bit of a butt. And the enemies did not cooperate there. So Lordo down to the last bits here in GP. I missed the 5 minutes remaining. We're more like 4 minutes remaining at this point. But he's got through the nothing screens. They're just walking. He's into the first of the waffles with the floating heads, which I've seen so many people do this perfectly, and I still haven't figured it out. I always mess up something here.
I want to say we're back to about a minute apart.
Yeah, that was what the Kasuto walk did for Chroma. He caught up just about 30 seconds through that thing. And then his GP was, his VOD was a little bit worse, unfortunately. And if he's able to skip a death abuse, it will save a little bit of time compared to Lordo, but it's nothing that is going to even this race up without, again, something fairly dramatic happening.
Still close enough. It just takes one mistake. Even at a high level, this game still has enough going on where it can happen at any point.
Yeah, and were they mentioning Chroma is going for the L7 path? He is not even, he's not going the main path. If he can get this perfectly, it's like a built-in 8-second time save or something. Again, it's going to be too much for what we have here, but I think he knows where he is in the race, and he's just going for what he thinks is going to be like his ultimate path through this. Like, at some point, I think Chroma is going to do this route in actual PB attempts because he's fairly consistent at it, or he can be. It's I think it's scary to most people. So if we didn't already have the built-in difference going in, there'd be no way for us to really know who is winning at this point. But it would take a lot from Lordo at this time. If it were more than, like, again, I'm saying 8 seconds, that's just because everything in Z2 is 8 seconds. I don't actually know how much time it saves, but you got to do it right the first time. And it's like Eco Key, but worse. I think that's the way that people who know how to do it would describe it. And unfortunately, you still end up with basically the same sort of nonsense rooms that you do the other way around. He took a death. That is 3 seconds faster optimally, yeah. And you think it's easier. See, there we go. You guys know what you're talking about. I'm just going off of what I've heard. So he took a death, really gross death. That's what happens. But again, that's not necessarily a route change. Just kind of happens in that room. So he gets the jar, casts the fairy, full magic. And Lordo just, not the best Thunderbird fight, but he gets to him real quick. And now we'll see Dark Link here, if he can seal the deal. From what I understand, if you do everything perfectly, this is a completely manipulatable fight, but... Oh, he did not get it the first time. Got it the second time. But in the meanwhile, Lordo has defeated Dark Link and has finished with an official time of 1:16:02. You know, a very low 76 is still a great time in a race. And GG's to him.
GG's indeed.
And meanwhile, we see Chroma just kind of heading towards the finish. Yeah, Trails, you know, anybody can get a 76, right? Alright, but yeah, we do see this fight here, and okay, that's a 1.5 cycle for Thunderbird. Not terrible, and still a pretty good finish in here at the end. He didn't quite get the, like if he had gotten the L7 skip, if he hadn't got taken out by that Blue Faka, this could have been a really high finish for him, but it's still nice to see that. We got to see it once in the tournament. Yeah. The great question is, how do we motivate you, Trails? And here we go. Oh, he's going to do the last hit, the quote-unquote legit way, no corner strats, and finishes it off. And yes, Chroma is now finished as well, with what I see on screen is a 1:17:32. I don't think he's finished yet in race time, but it doesn't really matter what the time is. Well, that's the essence of speedrunning, Trails. And hey, I believe we have Lord of Ultima with us. Congratulations, sir, on your victory today.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. GG's. How do you?
GG, that was... Oh, man, I don't know what to say about that run.
Yeah, it looked like it was a real rough start. You got through P1, got both bags.
Yeah, I leveled Life 2 in the beginning for some reason. That's a new strat. And I got lucky with the 2 bags, so...
Yeah, I was I was a little bit worried. And no, you did fine. You got through it. And then it kind of evened out for quite a while there. I think the middle part of the run was really strong for you.
Yeah, it got like really good until the maze, and then it got bad again, so...
Yeah, and I don't know. You weren't paying attention to the race, were you?
No, I don't like watching the race. It stresses me out, so...
Yeah, not surprised. But yeah, it was. I think you had a fairly significant lead up to the Kasuto walk, basically, and that's when that was. I didn't even want to bring that up, and then I did. That was
the
rough.
Kasuto walk. I could have gone up into the swamp, but I'm like, if I get a swamp encounter, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna try to slink, and I've never tried that before. Obviously, I failed.
Yeah, and then you got through that. P6 went pretty well for you, and the end wasn't perfect, but it was I would say within race considerations, right?
The magic level up was a mistake, but I'm like, oh, this looks like it's a race strat, kind of, but it's not.
Yeah, I think Chosen or someone in chat was like, he really wanted the experience of the enemy that you killed in the previous screen, and then yeah, but. Worked out.
I always get in there with like 59-10. That's what I was expecting, but then I killed the blue guy because I usually end up killing the blue guy. And nope, I had to kill the red guy.
Yeah. But it's all right. It's a race. You had an extra life. If you finish with an extra life, then that's just time lost, right?
Pretty much, but I kind of needed it there. Otherwise, I was going to be jar farming for like 9 hours.
Right. And we do have Chromataclysm with as well. GG, sir.
Hi, thanks, GG Lordo.
GG's.
Yeah, I think we had a similar thing happen with race time. I was going to put in my last split, and then I'm looking at the thing, and it says disconnect, and then I couldn't figure out how to connect it back again. So
yeah, like I hit the last
minute
split.
and a half later.
And I'm like, the window's tabbed out, and I'm like, yeah, I think I might have won. It was almost a 76, but then I tab it back in, and it's like, you're still running. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, because the same thing happened to me, but I had to like refresh the page and all that stuff. Yeah, so it sounds like the walk that went really bad for you was the only walk that went well for me.
Oh yeah, the Kasuto walk.
Literally everything else went like as poorly as it could have walking wise.
I think I took an accidental life 2 in P1, and then I was like, oh no, but then I got 2 bags, but I was still unsure, like, is this good for attack 4? I don't even know.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I did notice. I didn't watch like the side by side the whole time, but there were times I checked in with it. I think it was around going into Palace 2, or coming out of Palace 2, really is where the separation started to happen. I had 3.5 encounters in the swamp coming out of Palace 2.
Oh, I had a half encounter.
Dang, nice. And then I had a death in Palace 3 that was really costly. And at that point, I lost the mental game. I had nothing left. Nothing left in the emotional tank, and glad my mic was off for a while.
Yeah, I think I ended up with like 11 encounters, and it was all in the end because it was like 4 encounters the whole way for a while.
Oh. Yeah, man, I wish it would have been a little closer because I feel like it could have been, but also, yeah, I don't know. I feel like tournament you want to showcase your best play, you know, and we can both do better. That's the impression I got from this one. Is that this was representative of both of our, poorer runs.
This is like a bad one, for sure.
Yeah,
I was plus almost 2 minutes.
Yeah. Dang. I took a chance on alt route, save 10 seconds or something, but then that didn't work out either. I had a death in there too. So
Oof, dang.
yeah, so it goes. In some ways, I'm really glad to be able to take a break from this game for a bit.
Kind of a grind.
Yeah, and you've been putting in the work. That's the thing. Like, as far as like raw results go, practice hours, that kind of stuff, like, well deserved. And obviously, you've spent far more time with the game overall than I have. So, this is an expected result. Maybe not necessarily the time I wanted, but expected result for sure. Anyway, yeah, GG. Congrats.
All right, yeah, I think you guys covered about all the questions there. I will say that you guys were back and forth really until about P2, and then I think Chroma had a lot rougher P2 and kind of lost some time there, and then everything after that was just...
I was like plus 30, so once I was plus 30, I'm like, I have no pressure anymore. I feel like a god.
Man.
I can't believe I was plus 30 after P1. Like, I don't know how I was. I couldn't figure it out. I got both bubble skips. I got attack 4. I'm like, how am I plus like 30? This doesn't make sense.
Wait, that was after P1 that you were plus 30?
Yeah, by Lifetown.
Okay, because you did you have a clean walk to Lifetown?
I had one encounter, but
okay. Yeah, that's unusual. Man.
Just from a missed level, I'm like, how could it have wasted that much time? I don't understand.
Yeah. Bizarre. Yeah, 2 encounters for me on the way to Lifetown. I think I had 1.5. No, I just had a half going in, and then it was 3.5 going out. And then I took I got the after the post P3 walk to the cave, had an encounter there, had an additional encounter on the East Coast. And then I missed the tile skips on the maze return. I'm pretty sure I missed one on the way in and on the way back.
I think I got 2 encounters, but it was the longest 2 encounters ever. I was like going all over the map.
like the kick return guy trying to find that hole and losing 20 yards or something.
Oh gosh.
Herok was very bad as well, I think. But I did get eco, so that, boosted the spirits.
Nice. Yeah, same. That's like whatever else happens, like if eco key goes wrong, that's just ultimate shame. Man.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
So you got winner of what is it? Or do you have React next?
I have a dude versus Eon.
Dude Eon, that's right.
So Eon, probably, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes. The Dude Eon match is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. and I believe it's right here on ZSR. And then the other match will be React. Well, no, the other match that's actually tonight at 10 o'clock is Chosen Ear and Justin Man, the 4 and 5 seeds. And the winner of that gets to play React, and then we have our semis. So we're heading towards the end here.
But it just started. We need to do round robin, best of 8. Or wait, that doesn't make sense.
Well, hey, if you get 4 to 4, you just tie, you handshake, and you move on.
That would be. It's like chess. It's great.
Fine. Yeah, and I forgot to mention that the race tonight at 10 o'clock is on ZSR 2, I believe. So put that in your calendars. Type it into your
commentating
PDF.
with Trav.
Oh, nice. Lord of Comms tonight.
Lord of Comms. Nice.
Did you say that everything was the Lordo walk like I told you to?
I started to, and then I stopped because the walks were going too bad. And I said this doesn't count.
Yeah, I had heard they have to be successful walks to beat the Lordo walk.
So the swamp walk was like, wow, that's a super Lordo walk.
Oh gosh, yeah. No, I dialed it back a little bit. I didn't want you to, I don't know, There was a lot of emotion from both of you guys watching this race that I was.
I may have made obscene gestures to the camera several times.
There were no controller tosses that I saw, and there was no actual violence done, so I think that's good.
Oh, on the way to the Darunia, I had a D-pad error, and that really grinded my gears.
Yes. No smoke alarms were busted today.
No. You
My
know what?
smoke
I
alarm
feel
was
like
chirping though.
physical violence would have been less violent than what was coming out of my mouth, though. Just saying. It was bad.
I was rolling with the punches. Like every time something went wrong, I just started smiling more like a crazy man.
Yeah. That's a better way to deal with it for sure. Keeps your head in the game a little more. Like if you can look at the game and say, "Well done, you old son of a bitch. Well done."
Didn't get to do too much swag though, which is kind of my shame.
So I guess everything for this run was set.
Yeah.
Then you already gave the preview on the next Z2 matches we have here on ZSR. The one tonight at 10 PM on ZSR2, and tomorrow at, I think it was 9 PM? Let me check.
Yep, we did.
Yeah, it was 9 PM on main. Also, next up here on ZSR, today at... Where is it? At 8 PM Eastern, we have Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Tournament Qualifier race on ZSR main. And also check our schedule for more Zelda content. And don't forget that nothing of this could happen without the runners. Make sure to give those a follow. And thank you to our commentators, Jamich and Aaron.
You're welcome. It's a lot of fun. And thank you, Jamich.
And as always, thanks for having me on comms.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
GG.
And with
Bye.
that, the last for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and see you next time here on ZSR.
Peace.